A journey that started in 1998 has taken Google to establish itself as a multi-billion-dollar company in 2020. Today, Google is considered to be the pillar of innovation and development. But what's next? What do the brilliant minds at Google have in store for us in the next 5, maybe 10 years? At first, I thought I'll consult a fortune teller, but realized that's just too millennial, right? So, to find the answer, I went to the same person I go always, Google. Google is the data king, so it's obvious that it'll keep developing its services like Maps, Gmail, and even its search engine. Since most people are turning to voice for search, it will be difficult for Google to push out ads and get more revenue, but that's exactly why it's not keeping all of its eggs in one basket. So, let's focus on some of the other stuff we see Google doing in the future. Google has been working on driverless cars for a while now. Its Waymo project is spearheading the entire autonomous mobility division. We've already seen Waymo cars on the roads being tested in California, and Google is making sure that funding keeps pouring into Waymo for further research and development. Yes, driverless cars are the future, which is why even Elon Musk is pushing for it the same way. According to Morgan Stanley, Waymo could be worth upwards of $70 billion by 2030. Since Google has a massive data bank and loads of AI backing its venture, don't be surprised if Google gets the world's first legal driverless car officially on public roads, something that Tesla has been struggling at. Google also has its hands deep in shared mobility, and we have seen that with Google's self-riding bicycle. Yeah, that's right, that is the bike for the future, people. Google has been striving to amplify the reach of its hardware portfolio. From its Pixel smartphones to the Chromebook, Google has big plans to get a Google device to every internet user on the planet. But there's a catch, you see, as more Google device users means more data for Google. And like I've always said, data is the new oil. For this, Google might also make its device cheaper in the future. So, a Pixel phone in the future might be as cheap as a Xiaomi in the next 5-10 years. Yeah, it's possible. Remember the Google Glasses? Yes, it was an epic failure, but Google hasn't given up on it. Likewise, Project Ara, Google's modular phone, and Project Tango for 3D mapping are some of the lost jewels Google is looking to restart work on. Despite setbacks, most of these temporarily delayed projects are sure to make a comeback in the future, as many people, including me, are still hungover on the concept of a modular smartphone. Google is also working in the field of space exploration. Yes, that's true, via its Lunar X Prize project, where it's inviting inventors to come up with space exploration solutions. If this project flies, we may see Google battling SpaceX for NASA contracts in the future. Very few people are aware of the fact that Google's parent Alphabet is running a sort of a secret division called X, where it's working on tech for the future. Project Waymo is a product of X. Some of the projects that X is currently working on are Project Loom, where Google plans to get internet to remote areas using balloons. Yeah, balloons. There is also an ambitious autonomous drone delivery project called Wings, and Google Glass Enterprise Edition is also in the works. So there's a lot going on at X. Heard of Boston Dynamics? Yeah, the same company that made the crazy robots. Well, Google owned Boston Dynamics for quite a while until it sold it off to SoftBank. Many questioned that move, but since Google has been touted to be a big player in robotics for the future, Google has now shifted focus to a separate division called Robotics at Google, which is focusing on merging IoT with machines. Also, Mika, Bot and Dolly and Redwood Robotics are some of Alphabet-owned companies that are currently working in the field of robotics under Google's supervision. Clearly, it's making machines for the future. Not only that, since 2009, Google has also acquired almost 30 AI startups, which means the company is going all out in AI for the future. Google's Advanced Technology and Projects Group, or ATAP, is working on some future tech like mini radar via Project Solly that detects motion, which we have already seen in the Google Pixel 4. You'll see more of it in the coming days. It's also weaving wires and tech into fabrics, something like we have seen in the movie The Tuxedo. Not that cutting edge, but still pretty cool, yeah? Google could be a big player in high-tech garments if something like this becomes a hit with customers. Google's future is mostly going to be about search engine and its services like Gmail and YouTube. The fact that Google is such a big company and has more money than God, it's experimenting in various departments, which means that we can see more of mainstream services and products from Google in the future. Whether it will be autonomous cars or high-speed internet is something we'll get to see in the next couple of years.